Hello, welcome back to Rewrite. Now we're taking Kagari out into the town here. I decided to take her with me. Pulling her by the hand, I lead her into the town. I thought she would resist being dragged away from her theory, but she doesn't oppose me. We walk down the hill. We stroll along the deserted roads through the uninhabited townscape. The buildings have been overtaken by greenery, making the place feel like a post-apocalyptic land, centuries after humanity has been wiped out. We wander around, gazing into store windows, exploring ivy-covered buildings, and pausing on the crosswalk to stare down an endless road. Kagari allows me to pull her along. She says nothing, her face expressionless. I hold fancy clothes up to her and pin a clip to her hair, but all the while she keeps her face downturned. There is no rush. We have all the time in the world. The night is endless. I lead her around, exerting enough force to move her along. We go up to the roof of a big apartment block. It turns out to not be as tall as I thought. Other taller buildings surround us, blocking our view. Too low. Looks like that one over there is a bit taller. Want to try flying over to it? For some reason, I'm in the mood to fly. I scale the fence and pull Kagari up too. Then I lean forward and brace my legs, waiting for the right moment. My body floats. We land on the adjacent building as softly as the dust that dances in the air accumulates on the ground. Well, now that we're here, that other one over there is taller, isn't it? We fly again, from building to building, gradually moving higher and higher. At last, we alight atop the tallest structure. Look at that. The town is spread out before us, its green contours submerged beneath silver moonlight. It's like it's sinking into the ocean. Maybe because it's so quiet, like we're really underwater. Kagari's gaze remains fixed on her feet. The trick to taking a real break while studying for exams is to wipe all thoughts of exams from your mind. You have to do something completely different to stimulate your brain. And don't think of it as wasted time. Take 2, even 3 days fully off. But you can't just laze around. You've got to well and truly enjoy yourself. Head out first thing in the morning, and then come back at night totally exhausted. The strange thing is, you'll wake up the next day refreshed and ready to dive back into studying. I bet you're stuck in a rut because you've been doing the same thing for so long. If you let your hair down for a while, you'll get out of it. It'd be fun if we could scream our throats raw at karaoke or party with a bunch of friends, but... Is there a motorcycle anywhere around here? It'd be so invigorating to just ride around wherever we want. There aren't even any cars. The stores are fully stocked, though, so maybe we could find something at a bike store. As I'm talking, I feel eyes on me. At some point, Kagari has turned her gaze toward me. So you're finally looking up. Although you still look pretty glum. Okay, let's make this a proper date. Hope you've got your dancing shoes on. But it's pretty sad without any music. Let's give it a go. I learned all kinds of things from my brush with the theory of life. I can do things I couldn't in the branch worlds. Things other than trying to become super powerful and bend the world to my will. The moonlight here somehow has a hint of life to it. I snap my fingers. Immediately, the quiet moonlight that settles thick over the town begins to vibrate musically. I tune the sound into a melody I once knew. Kagari reacts. She displays an intellectual interest in the timbre of life that she's hearing for the first time. Her ribbons billow, spreading out across the roof. Incredible. Not to be outdone, I change into a tailcoat. I had never worn one before. Kagari's already dressed kind of appropriately, but I switch up her look a little too. Looking good. Would you do me the honor of a dance, milady? I ask her formally. When I hold out my hand, she places hers in it. Our dance is nothing complicated. We simply sway our bodies in time with the music. It's strange the effect wearing something different can have. Our fingers entwine and we spin. Like the earth and the moon, though not quite so elegant. It's kind of lonely without anyone else here. Suddenly, we're in a crowd. Silhouettes of ladies and gentlemen dressed in finery around us. Creating further detail is beyond me. The shadows murmur. They trade rumors about us, mimicking the gossip of high society. Finally, the shadows start to dance too. The gallant men and lovely ladies. All at once, the roof is transformed into a high society ball. Well, I wonder if Kagari is having fun. It's a whimsical soiree where jaunty energy and deep sorrow mingle in the air. Kagari quickly picks up on the tempo of the dance. She moves with fixed regularity, seemingly content to do nothing more. But that's boring, and I have other plans. I shake things up in my own style, abruptly breaking the rhythm. Kagari flounders. I can't help but chuckle. But I only have the advantage for a brief moment. Okay. But I only have the advantage for a brief moment. Oh. All of a sudden, she switches her pivot leg, and I pitch forward. Just barely managing to avoid face planting, I stumble a few steps before righting myself. How embarrassing. The lords and ladies are snickering at me. Kagari is still dancing, looking smug about her successful play. Well, I can't tell whether it was payback, or whether she copied it from me, thinking it was another rule to dance. I probably shouldn't speculate. We dance, we spin. In the town devoid of life, we go through the motions of having fun. I want to spend my time pointlessly. It's my act of rebellion. A tiny bit of revenge against those who know nothing. Even the moon's reflection has its pride. Those people who will be saved will never even be aware of our existence. They can't be, so long as they remain inside the space-time continuum. This vexes me somewhat, because Kagari will never get the recognition she deserves. Kagari speaks to me. It hits me like a shockwave. I can't comprehend your speech. My brain won't process it. A wave of dizziness washes over me. Such high-level information is akin to poison. Her multi-layered speech requires the same processing level from the listener. I'm nowhere near it. My consciousness fades. Just before I black out completely, my gaze meets Kagari's. Her eyes are no longer strange. They're human. Her darkly glittering pupils are focused on me. She can discern me without needing to look through a microscope. I sense danger. A sudden sense of urgency spurs on my reconstitution. This is an emergency situation. I get out of bed. Kagari, are you okay? She looks relieved to see me. She clings to me, hiding behind my back. What could have happened to scare Kagari? On guard, I survey the area. Everything appears as it was. But there's a sense of something different. A sticky feeling of hostility coats the night air. Who's there? Who is emitting such tangible malice? Ill will is a characteristic of human society. Is it a person? Is there another human out there cast into this place as I am? No, that seems unlikely. It makes more sense if matter that was already here has transitioned into something else. The hatred present in the air is clearly concentrated on one particular target. Kagari. It's targeting her. The enemy has always detested her. It must be someone from the superhuman side, the organization that saw Kagari as the key and plotted to kill her. If it's Caesar or Lucia, things could get ugly. Here they come. I feel it. Somewhere, something has materialized. Bloodlust, animosity, malice. It all pours into our world. Like paint spilled into clear water, it disperses, then converges. Right before my eyes. It recovers its condensed form, just as I do. Get back, Kagari. Make sure to stay behind me. I step forward. I unsheath my roller blade. So this is it. This is why I'm here. The malice takes the form of a beast. An amorphous creature not of this world. I know what it is. I saw it once in the town. So you are familiar. It's a small one, only about 50 centimeters tall. It'd be prudent to attack before it fully reconstitutes. I launch myself at it. At the very last moment, the familiar dodges my lightning fast attack. Then it leaps on my left flank. It's a ploy to get to the side without a blade. It's fast, but not too fast when you counter. Or it shouldn't be, but for some reason I fail to move. I'm frozen to the spot. I have no idea how I messed up so bad. It's a rookie mistake. The familiar leaps right over my shoulder. Kagari flounders behind me. Ripping off the metaphorical change binding, I spin around. I'm just in time to see her ribbons expanding through both arms. It's a physical manifestation of the survival instinct. The net of ribbons expands, binding the familiar and stopping it in its tracks. She's defended herself, or so I think. Held aloft, the familiar rises in midair and easily tears through the ribbons that twist around it. It's neutralizing Kagari's power. With no time to think, I act on instinct. Here goes. I kick the familiar away just before it can reach Kagari, sending it arcing away in a spectacular volley. It crashes into a nearby tree trunk, and before it falls to the ground, I drive my blade straight into it. I'm met with resistance, a thick, glutinous feeling, like shoving a stick into heavy clay. My aura stems from the same source as Kagari's power, and the familiar's power is enough to blunt the sharpness of my blade. But my blunted blade is still able to deliver a brutal wound. I use all my weight to sink the blade into the creature, pinning it against the tree. The familiar writhes desperately. Like a fragile pillar of salt blown in the wind, the beast disperses. Its sludgy remains slide to the ground, emitting a foul-smelling white smoke. It's a bulletin. Or bulletin. But it's probably ineffective against Kagari, as the incarnation of the planet. The heck was that all about? It's not the familiar that's the problem. The problem is inside me. Earlier, I felt something that shook me to my core. Why did I almost let it get past me? Sure, it was fast, but I could have countered it. I could have, but I didn't. In that moment, I abandoned Kagari. I rush over to where she's standing motionless. You okay? Kagari buries her face in my chest. I've never seen her so scared. My heart clenches in my chest. I don't want her to be afraid. Who is behind this? Sorry, but I've got to examine it before it disappears. After gently peeling Kagari off me, I go over to look at the remains of the familiar. When I poke the tip of my finger into it, my skin burns and melts away. The familiar should be imbued with traces of its summoner. Perhaps they didn't expect me to investigate, as I'm able to pull out the information embarrassingly quickly. Shima Sakura, the Holy Woman of Gaia. But which version? From which of the innumerable branch worlds? Whatever worlds you sent this from. Surely even the most brilliant person has their limits, so how? She was able to affect this realm from the real world. That's beyond the scope of a mere genius. It defies intellectual norms. With her own power, Kashima Sakura explicated and understood this world and sent that familiar here. While confined to her own branch world, she detected the possibility as Kagari. Kashima Sakura carries a burning hatred for all things. She detests life. It's not just about her issues with human society. She leads the very loads the very mechanism of life itself. I can't say I don't understand. Anyone who believes in love would resent being told that it's merely an illusion. And if they were forced to accept this as truth, it's understandable they might fall under the spell of resignation. I stood my ground because I found something in Kagari. No one wants to hear that they're merely a slave to the biological impulses of life. I sympathize with her on that, but does she truly desire destruction on such a scale? Destroying her own world wasn't enough. So now she's trying to eradicate each and every conceivable possibility. That familiar wasn't simply a shadow cast by something else. It was the real thing, sent from a real world. How deeply can a person suffer? Is this what happens when someone falls too deep into the abyss of their own mind? Kashima Sakura expended most of her power on plucking out the buds of possibility from worlds other than her own. Looking at it that way, it all makes sense. No wonder Mr. Sudaki was afraid of her. She's no longer human. Kashima Sakura has become something that can only be classed as superhuman. Kagari stands uneasily behind me. She doesn't seem to know what to do with herself. I put my arm around her shoulders. That was a tough fight, but you don't need to worry. You have me to protect you. That's the reason I was sent here. Although it was a formidable opponent, whether we like it or not, she has begun her assault. She has devised a technology that can render even Kagari's powers ineffective. All to stop humanity from being reborn. I draw my aurora back into my body. Something's bothering me. It's not hesitance. It's an unpleasant feeling, like a small bone lodged in my throat. I don't particularly want to know what it is. Aww. How could I feel an affinity with the familiar that tried to kill Kagari? Familiars now appear with regularity. At first, they're just small ones, but in time, more and more aggressive ones are sent our way. It's evidence that Kashima Sakura is aware of my presence as Kagari's guard. She wouldn't need such powerful forces to take out Kagari alone. Hounds, birds, packs of wolves, dragons. How much is she sacrificing to bring them here? Perhaps that's the real explanation behind her descent into abject hopelessness. I fight every familiar she sends, and I beat them all. I heard Kashima Sakura was a genius, but I'm not the same powerless guy I once was. I can draw any number of fights from my ephemeral memories. The opposing side must be a huge cost for each advancement, while all I have to do is defend. That difference fills in the gulf between our talents. Kagari calmly focuses on her research. She pours every bit of her energy into it. She never pauses, even when she's under attack. Her search is her whole purpose. The fact that she allows herself to be defenseless shows the trust she has in me. That thought tenses my body. I won't ever let another familiar get the jump on me. However, the nagging feeling remains. I still feel empathy toward the familiars. I focus on the fights and force myself not to think about it. Does this mean that I see them as worthy opponents? Here we go. I bring down a small familiar deep in the forest. It was an agile little thing, like the knight in a game of chess. It ran from me with single-minded intent, and I ended up chasing it all the way out here. My cell phone rings. I answer the call. I rush back to the hill as fast as I can. I cover that many kilometers in just a few minutes. When I arrive, Kagari is already under attack. Countless ribbons fan out around her in defensive battle. But she's being unilaterally beaten back. While she hasn't been dealt any lethal wounds, her whole body is disintegrating, as though she's been bathed in acid. Ooh, the familiar is a dinosaur type. It's about 4 meters tall. That makes it mid-sized as far as familiars go. It resembles the real genus Deinonychus. It has huge talents for rending its enemies to shreds. They're lethal weapons. Although it's my first time seeing one, I can immediately tell that it's more of a threat than the hound types. She can send more than one at a time now. I was so focused on the battle at hand, I missed the presence on my other side. The instant it turns in my direction, my aurora surges up like a blast of wind to slice its neck. Its head falls to the ground, followed by the slow collapse of its body. That was my secret weapon, casting my aurora in a liquid state, only for it to harden in midair into a deadly blade. I only have a few memories of mastering it. Thank goodness I recalled them. While I ultimately defeated the familiar, I was met with terrifying resistance. If I'd been the slightest bit slower, it probably could have brought me down with a single blow. If I'd missed the first shot, it would have taken several seconds for me to launch the next. And in that slight gap of time, it would have been able to get its claws on Kagari. That was too close. Get away from the body, Kagari. The dead familiar disintegrates, scattering toxic substances. It's a mechanism to try and contaminate Kagari. She seems to understand as she quickly moves away. I'm glad you're okay. Kagari trembles like a fawn. I hug her. Burn-like marks stand out across her face and limbs. I almost click my tongue in distaste. It's my fault for not being able to see through the diversion. Kashima Sakura pretended like she couldn't send more than one familiar at a time, all the while biding her time for this moment. They always attacked as lone wolves. She waited until my guard was down, and then used diversionary tactics. As much as I hate to admit it, she read my mind like an open book. Despite the fact that she can't even see us. My opponent is smarter, and the familiars are getting stronger. And there's nothing to say she has to stop at just 2. What will happen if she sends multiple Earth Dragons? We're in danger. Kagari clings to me. Shaking with suppressed fear, she buries her face in my chest. It takes a while for her to calm down. Perhaps because of her usual passive nature, Kagari crumbles in the face of overwhelming violence. I can feel her strength fading in my arms. Kagari. I've never seen her lose consciousness before. As I watch her sleeping face, I get lost in my reverie. My thoughts are not happy ones. I feel a heavy sense of dread, as though being forced to face up to all of my flaws. I have to accept it. This particular truth. Since the danger has passed for now, I leave Kagari and walk through the forest. A single crow lands on the branch of a tree. It's a familiar. It has many eyes of differing sizes. It's a type used for surveillance and intel gathering. They're perceptive, but not suited to fighting. I might as well go ahead and tell her. I speak to the crow. I know you're there, Kashima Sakura. It's become clear to you that your existence amounts to nothing more than an amalgamation of actions and reactions. I'm sure that's intolerable for you. Enough to drive you to this madness. I've heard you're a genius. I heard you're a genius, but the woman I know is no more than a weak, powerless old crone. But now I can understand the veil of mystique around you. You want to know who I am, don't you? Well, I'll tell you. I'm Tenoji Kotarou. I exist wherever you are too, so you can look me up over there. Although he won't have an inkling about who I am here and now. I'm sure you already know this, but at this point, killing me won't do anything. If you don't believe me, go ahead and try it. I bet the question you really want answered is why I'm here. I've been wondering about that myself. At first, I thought I was called here to protect Kagari. But that wasn't the case. I figured I had a different purpose. And then I finally remembered who I am. Things were dicey there for a moment. I almost lost Kagari. And with that first attack, I understood. This has always been my destiny. I always wanted to save everyone. I wanted to protect and preserve the community I belonged to. That was just my nature. But that was impossible, and in the end, I had to choose just one. One person out of the multitude of possibilities. And there was always something lost as the result of my choice. Something known as Kagari. Just as the many aspects of the key manifested as Kagari, I appeared as a reaction to them. See? I am a reaction to her. It's funny how, despite intending to save her, I ended up on the side trying to kill her. But I've changed. Now, all I want is to treasure and protect her. How is this transformation possible? Because of you, Kashima Sakura. You crashed into me like a pile of collision. It's thanks to you that I am who I am right now. I no longer have to simply react. Which is why I can now fight against you. I will protect Kagari and help in her search for that place of possibility. So thank you, Kashima Sakura. You enabled my birth. This is my declaration of war. From here on out, I am your enemy. I bring my arm down in a slashing motion. Aurora radiates out in an arc and slices through the bird. The bird isn't the only thing cleaved into. So too is the lingering regret in my heart. Great. Well, good for you. If Kagari recovers with the barest amount of sleep. But although her wounds heal, the damage remains. I won't let her get hurt again. But my defensive power is lacking. I need more hands on deck. I think back on the things I've seen in the town. Aborted causalities. It wouldn't be a stretch to call them ghosts. Their causal connections to Kagari are weak, and they cast no more than a vague shape. Still, while nowhere near as definite as mine, each of them contains its own form of life. Right now, they will recompose after each dispersal, but pin them down to a specific form, and they become destructible. same as me. What they need is connections. Even if their bonds with Kagari are insufficient. Listen up, Kagari. I issue my declaration to her, knowing she won't understand. I know who I am now. I've accepted my role in this endless night. Which means that if I die now, I don't think I can come back. Even if I did, I'm sure that Kashima Sakura would kill you before I returns. If it comes to that, it's too late. It's do or die. Since the situation's come to this, that must mean the end of your research is in sight. Kashima Sakura is throwing familiars at us because she doesn't want you to go in that direction. There is an answer. You hear me? You're on the right path. You have to reach your destination. You have to find hope for life. And to help you do that, I need more people. I can't counter diversionary tactics all on my own. And there's only one way to bolster our ranks. You know what that is, right? Can I go ahead and do it? Kagari nods her head. Did you just nod? Another confirmation. I'm shocked. Did she understand me? Or does it just seem like she did? What am I gonna do? There's only one option. I'm gonna gather the club together. For the very last time. Oh. Oh. Animation. Oh. Okay. Alright, well, this looks interesting.
Kotarou-kun?
Great.
Kotarou-kun?
I'm shaken awake. Where am I? I seem to be in my own room. Have I returned to my normal life? Or have I woken from a dream? Kotori, is it time for school?
何言ってるさ。部活でしょ?
Huh? It's the middle of the night. Why would Kotori come with me at this time? Right? It's always night here. We are the moon on the lake surface. So Kotori, you are...
来たよ、小太郎くん。力になりに。
Right. This is what I wanted. A once held ideal. An unrealized union. I pulled it out for this critical moment. Pasted it together from my memories. I guess this is just my own wishful thinking.
違うよ、小太郎くん。私は私。小太郎くんと同じ。最後。 ってる。
Everyone. She tugs me out of bed. Two thugs are waiting for us in front of the house. Right. I almost forgot. Of course, the bonds of friendship forged through battle bind the strongest. Given the choice, I would have picked Mr. Osaka or Mr. Gen, but I wasn't able to pick up their threads. There are untold stories, like that of Hamada Michiko, the office worker from Setagaya. I have memories of fighting alongside the Bayer Knights of the Green Sword. Those guys were really something, each of them as powerful as Caesar. We fought against Gaia and the Key. It was the fiercest of conflicts. Mr. Tsukime and his creative use of all kinds of firearms. Mr. Moriyuchi, the glasses-wearing warrior who could manipulate an energy similar to radiation. The muscle-bound Mr. Noe with a bandana around his head and a sword in his hand, stepping into the fray. Mr. Okinoki, the shady ex-agent. Mr. Surumi, the mysterious old man who could fabricate villainous traps with a single chainsaw. The famed Mr. Gen, with his axe that he threw like a boomerang to decimate his enemies. And Mr. Osaka, who cut down his foes with his sword. I always knew I could rely on them. But even fighting side by side with them ultimately brought me nothing. No, I should forget about it. Thinking about them isn't going to change the fact that I can't bring them here. However, you guys look like a random encounter.
自分で読んだくせに、二人はここらの見張り番。私らはこっち。
Sure. She drags me along with familiar force.
おせえぞ天王寺。
Yoshino. Behind him are a gaggle of followers.
ここですぐにも決着つけてえところだが、今日は任務があるんでな。勘弁。俺らは魔物の出現を見つけて伝えりゃいいんだな。
そう、徹底的に見回ってほしいの。伝えることが第一で、戦う必要はないから。
いや、悪いが俺もこいつらも戦うぜ。必要がなくともな。
死んじゃうよ。
構わねえ。それがクールガイってもんだろ。天王寺。手柄を独り占めにはさせね
え。You're going to help us?
違うな。こっちが勝手にやってることだ。思い上がってんじゃねえよ。
Spoken like a true gangster.
はいはい、そこまでね。先行くよ。
She grabs my hand again. Thanks, everyone. Then. Alright.
やれやれ。やっとお出ましか。
We have a big battle ahead of us.
人を呼びつけておいて、遅刻してくるとは何様？
Guys. My eyes prickle with heat. Perhaps I'm indulging myself under the pretext of a crisis. But now that I've been blessed with such an opportunity, I've got to see it through to success. I have to do whatever it takes. That's how much it means to me. We all gather on the hill. Kagari watches me anxiously from a slight distance away. She's scared. Don't worry. The Aqua Research Society will protect you. Our job is to protect the princess from the monsters that are trying to kill her.
いつまで守る？
Until her theory is complete.
その理論というのはいつ完成するのかしら。
When it's complete.
おっちゃん、それきつい。
Who are you calling an old man?
一人だけ成長してますから。
What? How old do I look?
20歳くらいに
Really?
起こしに行って、私もびっくりこいた。一人だけ大人になるなんてインチキ。
I'm not tricking anyone. Maybe it's because of the time I spent with Akane. Well, anyway, try not to let it bother you.
守りを固めるのはいいとして、打開策はあるのか。ただ同情するだけというのはナンセンスだぞ。
If we can hold out until the fear is complete, then we win. There's no other aid coming, so in this case, it makes sense to dig in for a siege.
ねえ、そもそも理論って何？
A way to save the Earth.
鍵の救済のことですか？
No, re-evolution, but you wouldn't understand. Truth is, Earth is already beyond salvation. So, we need another way. That's what the theory is.
敵は何も。
Kashima Sakura. If that bothers you, you can stay at the back.
構わない。こんなところでまでしがらみを引きずるつもりはないわ。
Good, we need you. The familiars she's sending are strong and several can appear simultaneously. They can utilize diversionary tactics and self-destruct, so be careful. Don't expect her to play fair.
まさしく鹿島さくらのやり方だわ。
Someone should remain with Kagari at all times. Lucia smiles.
ガイアとガーディアンが手を取り合って鍵を守るんだな。
それも星を救うためにです。
Exactly.
それは痛快でいいな。気楽なのもいい。そんなのが良かった。
I made it so you can turn your abilities on and off at will. Go ahead and enjoy some physical contact. Lucia takes off her gloves and stares down at her hands in disbelief.
よかったですね。
Tia and Lucia high five. Oh, okay. This theory is different from Gaia's Salvation and Guardian's Stopgap measures. First time of seeing them all on the screen. It's the ultimate possibility. Perfect for our first club meeting back after the break, right? The girls exchange looks. Even mirror images have feelings.
根掘り葉掘り聞きたい気持ちはあるけど、どうせ理解できないのでしょうし、最初の仕事も入ったようだからな。
Well spotted. Several malicious entities are starting to appear.
こんなの気づくも気づかないもない。見え見えだ。もしかして魔物が来たの？そうみたいですね。まだ遠い。町の方。
There's a time lag before they fully appear. Kashima Sakura is aware of this, so she sends them at a distance, so I can't beat them back right as they materialize.
咲夜って呼べないですかね？
He's too exceptional. I can't do it with my half-baked theories. But since I figured you'd have trouble without him, I created a substitute. Come on out. I snap my fingers, and a giant shape, at least 80 kilos heavier than Sakuya, lumbers from between the trees. Whoa, it's a decoy. It moves strangely. Introducing heavyweight Sakuya. You can fight with him.
何ですかこれは？ちょっと小太郎、なんでこんな別人みたいになっちゃってるんですか？
There's an explanation, I promise. I didn't mean for him to turn out like this, but this is what happened when I aimed for the same specs. I couldn't get him any smaller or lighter. Just goes to show how impressive Sakuya is.
この人は断じて咲夜じゃないです。
Wow, thanks for raining all over my parade. He's super strong, don't you think, Kotori?
強いことは強いと思うよ。
Sure, I couldn't get him to look exactly like the original, but what I did manage was...
その代わり
With a violent thrust of his hand, Heavyweight Sakuya offers her a cup of tea. His butt-wearing skills are definitely on par with the original.
指入ってる。湯飲みに指入っちゃってます。ぶっといのが。この相撲レスラーみたいな人は同じことしか言わないの？
I left out the language faculties, cost cutting, you know how it is.
よろしくね、サクヤ。なかなかどうして強そうだ。
She folds her arms, her expression saying she's expecting big things from the big guy.
ちょっと受け入れないでくださいよ。
I mean, if you don't like the design, you can just try it and keep him out of your line of vision.
きつい。
とかやってるうちに来たようだわ。
My cell phone rings.
すまねえ。早速4匹そっちに行った。
Thanks for the heads up.
手も足も出なかった。人の力じゃどうしようもねえ。3人にやられた。次からは見張り役に徹する。
Thanks, man. By the time I've hung up the call, everyone is in battle mode. Well, you heard him. It's up to us now. Kotori, you guard Kagari. It's probably the best match for your abilities. I wasn't able to properly reproduce Pero, so we have to make do with a substitute too. They're not as good as chipping off, but come on out. 2 mini-minutes drop out.
Wow.
Kotori reaches out to touch the creature. She quickly draws information from them as she contracts with them. Her skills are a sight to behold.
そう。リーマとリュウバって言うんだね。
Think you can use them?
大丈夫。
In terms of fighting ability, even these two together probably won't be equal to one chipping off. I decide to have them focus on Kagari's protection. Akane, I was able to recreate your scout bird. A vibrantly colored leaf bird lands on Akane's shoulder.
使わせてもらうわ。
I'm also contracted with a scout bird so I can access its vision. It's not hugely powerful, but it should serve well as a mode of communication and observation. Lucia, Caesar, here are your weapons. I hand them a knife and a spear, both thinly coated with life force. This will increase their effectiveness against familiars.
できたら獲物は刀がいいな。
Sure, I can whip one up for you. I can't create anything as complex as a gun, though, so I'm afraid you'll have to make do.
問題ない。体が資本だ。
平気。
Akane, you take point. Lucia, Caesar, and I will be the vanguard. Beat back any enemy that approaches. Any that slip through the cracks will be for Kotori and Chihaya. Kotori and Chihaya to deal with at the back. The scout bird takes flight. Lucia and Caesar quickly scatter in opposite directions, moving with practice ease.
私たちはここでいいんですか？
Yeah, keep Kagari safe.
力の密集してるあたりだね。
I can feel the enemy approaching. But compared to last time, these familiars are really something else. One or two of us might die. The pack of familiars move toward us at the speed of a motorbike. They seem to be the same dinosaur type as before. There's no time to freak out. Sending up a silent prayer, I draw out my power. One day. It's like one Dano, I just... Hey. Bye!